tactic that men often employ to get those results is weaponized incompetence.
He's not stupid. He just doesn't want to do it.
So I forgot my lunch today, and I asked my husband to bring me lunch. So let's do an unboxing, because clearly it's a little full. I just have a feeling this is going to be really good.
You're treating her like your dog, but that's your wife.
And if this does not explain a man in a nutshell, then I really truly do not know what does.
Man says that 50-50 custody has him drowning, but his wife won't get back together because it's cut her workload in half.
And these be the men that when the women leave, you already know they do the like, can't believe it, I didn't see it coming. A lot of the issues with men when it comes to relationships and how we treat women stems from the belief that women are there to serve men, right? So that's why you have a lot of these conversations around submission. You have a lot of men saying stupid stuff like women will submit to their bosses, but they won't submit to their husbands, as if those are the same roles or scenarios. My manager telling me or asking me to do something at work is completely different. Like the roles are different, the objectives are different than when I'm at home, right? A manager on a job site can't do everything. They literally have to delegate. It's not that they don't want to do like, and this is what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. Most middle management is shitty. Most middle management is shitty. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm talking about the concept. So, and how it plays out the majority of the time. Again, I sold cars for a long time. I was in sales for a long time. My manager couldn't sell the car and work the deal, meaning like at the desk, like putting in all the information and running credit and, you know what I mean, getting all the programs and all that stuff put together, finding out all the details. Like, they can't do all of that. So my job was to go out and help the customer. I brought the customer in. I started the process, give it over to the desk. The desk picks it up. They do what they do. We make the deal. While I'm doing, then we have somebody in finance. Like, we all have different roles. So my manager asked me to do something or told me to do something. I understood that it wasn't because like they were being lazy. It wasn't like they were telling me to go get them coffee. They would be telling me to do stuff that, I needed to do to make me money and make the dealership money. Like, I had to do it. It was just a part of my job. When men talk about submission with women, they often talk about it like, if you listen to the examples, it's always like, so why you don't want to make me a sandwich when I tell you to go make me a sandwich? Because you can make a fucking sandwich. Like, you not making a sandwich isn't, or you having to go make a sandwich isn't stopping you from doing anything. You're not multitasking. You're just literally sitting on your fat, flabby ass watching TV. So why can't you go make yourself a sandwich? Why you men are like, oh, why don't you clean up? So why do I have to clean up? Why don't you just clean up? If your manager tells you to clean up, then you go clean up. But when I say go clean up, you want to divorce me. Yeah, because what the fuck is wrong with your thumbs? Are you not mobile? Can you not bend over? Can you not pick shit up off the ground? Can you not make lunches for your kids? Like, what do you mean? That's why that shit is different. But men see women, like I said before, men see women as like servants, right? Wife slaves. So we think it's their job. We think it's their duty to do that. A tactic that men often employ to get those results is weaponized incompetence.
He's not stupid. He just doesn't want to do it. Weaponized incompetence shows up in so many different ways. There's the, I don't know how. And I would say that one's kind of the most classic, right? Like, I don't know how to pack the kids' lunches. I don't know how to do the dishes properly. But there's also the, half-assed job. Like he'll load the dishwasher, but he's going to put the cups right side up so that they fill with water and then be like, what's the problem? I put them in the dishwasher like you asked me to. He'll fold the laundry, but it's going to be in a crumpled little ball. You're going to have to refold it and do it yourself, which was kind of the whole point. And then there's the just tell me what to do guy. Just tell me what needs to be cleaned. Make me a list. That guy sounds helpful, but he's not, because he treats you like the house manager. It's your job and he's just helping you. And then there's strategic incompetence, and I have a whole video on that topic. These are the guys that are competent making their like fantasy football leagues. They're really successful at work, but they can't figure out the most basic things at home. This guy's going to act really overwhelmed, really helpless until he wants something. And then there's the last one, which really gets me because it feeds right into a trope about women. This is weaponized dependence, right? They're going to use your high standards against you. Well, I didn't fold the towels because I know you have a really specific way of doing it, so I just left it for you. I didn't want to mess it up. And this really isn't like just about being bad at chores. It's really more about refusing to be accountable for them, and this guy always benefits from you picking up the slack. And the thing that so many people, well, men, seem to miss about this, but I think they miss it on purpose, is that weaponized incompetence is not about not knowing how. It's not about your wife's standards. It's about pretending to not know how to do something in order to get your partner to do it. You like that they do it. You benefit from them doing it. It's not that you don't care. It's that you want them to do it because you don't want to. It's not funny. It's not quirky. It's not, oh, boys will be boys, you know, men. It's straight up laziness. And actually that sort of like boys will be boys attitude, it perpetuates it.
That's exactly what it is. And so many men just go out of we go out of our way to keep that dynamic or to create that dynamic in our relationship. And we go to these like extremes, like these extreme lengths to make it happen. Like doing shit like this is crazy to me.
So I forgot my lunch today, and I asked my husband to bring me lunch. So let's do an unboxing, because clearly it's a little full. I just have a feeling this is going to be really good. Mm-hmm. We have a bag of we have a bag of cookies. Not a Ziploc bag, but a bag. We have a bag of pretzels. Feels very empty. We got an apple. Gotta stay healthy. This is good. We have not just a portion of Pringles, but an entire container of Pringles. Another bag of cookies. Another bag. Options. Lucky me. And lastly, oh. Okay, we have my 2-day-old Chipotle. And at the very bottom, we have a bag of dog food. Because you're my dog. There's 2, Joy. Please bring back the dogs are low on food. So ladies, if you don't have food and your husband has to bring you a lunch, just know that you're gonna get lots of food, as well as maybe even a cute note. This is nice. This is great.
Now, if you guys are like me, you're trying to find out how is this funny. Like, I didn't find the humor in this. And I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's, you know, their relationship or anything like that. But the first thing I said when I watched this was, oh, he hates her. Like, I was like, that's crazy. Like, I'm a lazy son of a bitch. I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm a lazy motherfucker. I am not gonna hold you. If my wife asks me to bring her lunch, my wife doesn't really eat out that much. So I would, you know, she prefers like cooked food. I would cook her a meal, like whatever. But let's say I was being lazy and you know, whatever the case may be, I would have just went to Chipotle and bought her something. or I would have door dashed it. I mean, and let's say, it's an expense, right? Let's say, because people can't afford just to do that. I get that. Let's say it's the money thing, then, because door dashing is like kind of expensive. Then I would have went and picked it up. If you could drop off the bag, then you can go pick up the food. Like, there are so many other things he could have done than this, that it seems like he went out of his way to do this. Giving her dog food was the biggest slap in the face, and saying, "You're my dog." No, that's your wife. You're treating her like your dog, but that's your wife. That's crazy. Like, it just wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. Like, if he would have made a lunch and made, actually gave her some fucking food, and then made that note, like, because he gave her so many snacks and shit, and been like, "I didn't know what to give you, so, whatever, hardy har har," right? It would have been cute, whatever, right? But giving her a bent up tinfoil container of Chipotle that sound like it didn't even have nothing in it, and everybody knows that Chipotle is nasty after 24 hours. Chipotle doesn't get better with time. I've never eaten Chipotle after about 12, 13 hours, and it tasted as good or better than it did before. It takes a hit. You're reheating it, don't work. The rice gets dry. Like, that shit is fucking highly biodegradable. Like, it breaks down within seconds. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing just screams he doesn't ever want to have to do this again. The whole process. So he just did the worst. He literally just did the worst job he possibly could do. I'm surprised he put it in that bag, by the way. Like, yeah, at least the bag is cute. Everything else is like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
My fuck ass husband, excuse my language, but that's what he is to me right now. He was just walking down these stairs maybe like 20 minutes ago, and I hear, "Oh, ow, my foot." And I was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" "Squidward. I just stepped on Squidward." And I was like, "Okay." Guess what I just did walking down these stairs? I stepped on that fucking Squidward. It's fucking Squidward. But what did he do when he stepped on it? He didn't pick it up and put it where it belongs, so he left it on the stairs for me to step on. And if this does not explain a man in a nutshell, then I really, truly do not know what does.
That right there is something that, that's amazingly annoying. And if you're a parent, like, men get upset at their kids when they do stuff like that. So why would we do that, right? To our wives and our girlfriends. But I know, me personally, I had to, like, sometimes I see stuff in my own house, and I literally think, like, I see it and I'm like, "Oh, you got to pick it up. Like, it's your house." You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody else is going to pick that up. Like, I know that's like fun. Like, literally, it's a fight against the patriarchy in my own brain. Like, I'm not joking. I have to do that. Like, there's been stuff in my lifetime that I've walked past for days, and I was just like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then, like, the older I get and the more that I unpack my misogyny, the more I'm starting to realize, like, where that comes from. That inaction. Why don't you just do it? Why don't you just see the need and then feel the need, right? It's always like a punishment for your wife, because you should never be inconvenienced as a man. That it's the entitlement kicks in. That's what that is, man. That's crazy. And I honestly think he said that as like that was like him being passive aggressive. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping at this point, because that was very deliberate that he left it there. See what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And it just seemed like he wanted her to know that, like, there was, like, he blamed her for it being there. That's what I'm saying. So he was like, "Ouch, ow, what happened? I stepped on Squidward," and then leaves it strategically right there. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's how that situation plays out to me. And then what eventually happens is the women get tired, and then we end up here.
A man says that 50-50 custody has him drowning, but his wife won't get back together because it's cut her workload in half. The man posted to Reddit saying that he and his ex-wife have a 14-month-old son, and shortly after his birth, their marriage fell apart. His ex-wife accused him of not pulling his weight, yet he says that she expected him to know what to do without her telling him. They argued all the time, and finally he told his ex-wife that her life would be much harder without him. The two ended up getting a divorce, and they live in Kentucky, where 50-50 custody is the default arrangement. And now that this man is a single parent, he's finding it hard to adjust to caring for his child, and said he had no idea what he was in for with getting split custody of his kid. He says he is drowning and can barely function the weeks he has his kid. He's so exhausted. And he thought his ex-wife would feel the same way. She said that life is actually much easier now that she has time for herself due to the 50-50 custody arrangement. She isn't exhausted anymore now that she only has to take care of one person instead of two, aka she was having to take care of that ex-husband. People in the comments were not sympathetic at all to this man. After all, the only reason he wants his ex-wife back is to have her take care of the chores and the child care. Instead of actively seeking solutions to manage his responsibilities as a single parent, he hopes that reuniting with his ex-wife will shift the burden of child care and household off of him. He should rather focus on growth and self-improvement as a father, seeking out parenting classes, helpful books, and overall ways to improve his parenting. His only solution does not have to be a woman to relieve him of his parenting and household responsibilities.
And these be the men that when the women leave, you already know they do the like, I can't believe it. I didn't see it coming. Because that shit builds up over time. Mind you, in that scenario, that man left the woman. A lot of times men leave women thinking that because they pay bills, that the woman is going to feel the brunt, feel the weight of that, feel that burden. And then be like, oh, this is so hard. Like, and then go and run back to the man. There is a campaign to convince men from men. There's a campaign by men for men to convince men that women don't want to work. Like women are afraid of hard work outside the home. That's why they would rather be inside the home, right? Not knowing that the labor inside the home is more intensive than the labor outside the home. There's more riding on it too. But anyways, so there's a whole campaign that men have headed, that men have spearheaded to go out here and convince other men that women actually don't want to work. And it's working because men actually believe that just because they pay bills, that's going to be the thing to keep a woman around. But I'm telling y'all that all that does is delay the inevitable. Like if a woman is financially dependent on a fucking loser, it's just gonna take more time for her to leave. If she's independent financially and every other way, then she'll leave sooner. That's the only thing, which they don't care because they just want to get as much labor out the woman as possible, and then they'll get another woman in their mind, right? But yeah, that's really all it is. Like all you're doing is delaying the inevitable because even if you pay all the bills, eventually women get tired of that shit. They get tired of your inaction. They get tired of your lack of effort. They get tired of your lack of presence and they end up leaving. So you thinking that like, oh, as long as I pay these bills, it's going, like I'm going to keep her here. That's a miscalculation on your behalf. And then men leave these women in these types of scenarios, in these instances to, then they fuck around and find out that wasn't the thing that was keeping her there. The money wasn't the thing that was keeping her there. That wasn't the reason she got with you, was because you could pay most of the bills. She can pay her own fucking bills and then do half the labor in the home and not have to be subjected to being a sex slave, whatever else comes with it, an emotional mule, carrying all your baggage and shit. So they end up, overestimating their value. The men do. They overestimate their value, which, makes a lot of sense because men have very grandiose ideals about themselves and they think that they're so valuable and they think they can never be replaced. But that's why Beyonce made Irreplaceable. Or that's why Neo wrote it, but that's why Beyonce sang Irreplaceable for a reason, because a lot of men need a wake-up call. That song really is for the boys, not the girls, when you think about it.